And she's gonna sit over there.
Yeah.
And now once it's recorded now,
Yeah. Recording now.
so can she minimize that and then her presentation? If that's the only.
No, I can do it here, right? I can use this computer to share. Okay.
Right.
All right. I'll be right here behind you.
Thank you.
So let me just.
We don't really want the video. So.
Oh, thank you.
Now you're back.
Yes, that would be great. We'll just there is.
As long as it's recorded, it's good.
Yeah.
They don't need to see it. Let Ben exit out of that, then you can start.
Okay. This is. Yes, and then always next.
Anything else?
All right, so this one will replace the one at the end of the table and one's. All right, Ben, turn them off and I'll replace them. Well, they're already good. You already swapped them. They're all the bad ones. One is small walls, but one swap them all out. One is there, only the other ones.
They on?
Put them inside. Did you already grab it? Yeah. Then, yeah, we're fine. It's storage. Good for you.
This I don't.
Yeah, this just was happening. Yep, you just want that, and then you come back to that, and if you want to change the presentation, you just go to the share.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you just go back over here.
What I'm gonna do is I can do what I need to on my side and so then. And everything.
There we go. Yeah, let's have it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's locked into it by a quick trip. Make sure that.
Yes, right.
Getting used to that stuff. Yeah.
No, I got rid of it. I made it so that way this is the more encapsulated.
How are you? Tomorrow would be best. Tomorrow I think it's wide open. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing tomorrow, but that's the afternoon. I must have to go. Not early. I've got a meeting at 4:00. We come early afternoon.
Let me get with Debbie and see if you can get some. Debbie.
Morning. So nice to meet you. Oh, you're 26? We did. Over there now in South Carolina.
I know, it's ready to come to see you my cheese, right?
All right, so you're still on the same side?
I'm on that side. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. So here. Right here.
Still over there.
Hey.
So glad somebody really knew that I'm changing my love. I thought, I think they're very new.
I think it's pretty fancy yesterday, really.
It says my sign.
Yours,
But
I
he
know.
just, you know, on
Okay.
his own. I'm like, what is going on? I know.
I know.
Same thing, yes.
We have cameras, probably. See,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we flipped everything over.
Yes.
This is an IT deal.
Love it.
It's a little different, but you know.
No, but I
gotta go with the
like
flow.
change. Mark.
Yes.
I embrace change.
Well, let me put it this way.
I do, except for my hours.
I know, girl, I know.
But this is a good change, I would think, it's a bigger screen I can see.
I know, you got, I know.
But speaking of changing it, but update last night, I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Oh,
No, we didn't really get.
I hate.
So 26.0 is the biggest change they've done since 18.0. And so.
Since when?
18.0. And 26.0, it's a whole new set of platforms. So you'll also find that a lot of your apps have to be re-updated.
Different. I hate that.
I hate that too.
And we all hate it, that's why they don't ask, we just do it.
Keep us on attention, be careful.
Well, it's funny, I was at a wedding this weekend and one of the other guests were talking and she's like, since I've done this, I'm working right. I'm like, and that's why I don't do it. Trey gets really mad. I don't accept dates.
I wait for a little bit.
He's
Oh, nice.
I would tell you, if we had coordinated this a little better, it drove us here up the squeeze. Mics are recording.
That's also true.
Let's pick up the sound.
You did all this.
This is IT. This is Gary.
Jerry and.
Gary? Gary's not in here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben, good job.
It looks.
So, for those of you that are into Stranger Things, it's the upside down.
No, this is better than I got.
All right.
All right, it is 8:39, 8:38 on the wall clock, on the iPhone clock, it's 8:39. We will call this meeting to order. Thank y'all for coming and trekking over from the other building, which is so pretty, and we so appreciate that reception. Thank you all for doing that. I know that took a lot of planning and organizing, and the team, Ella, everybody, thank you for that. So the first item on our agenda is the approval of the November 12th Citrus Connection meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 2 is the approval of the November 12th CC public hearing meeting minutes.
Motion for approval.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Any questions or clarifications? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll now, thank you. We'll now open up our meeting for public comment. Anyone who wants to address the board of directors for Citrus Connection can come to the podium and tell us who you are. Seeing none, we'll close public comments and go into finance. Miss Rhonda Carter, CFO.
Good morning, board member. The first agenda item 4A is for the Lamtech financials through October the 31st, 2025. Total revenues are $337,000 or 2% of the annual budget.
One question, what page are we on, Rhonda?
We
Five.
are,
You got two here. Switch books. Oh, no, you got your notes, but.
Yeah, see that, that's what you book.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, and the Fairbox revenue reflects $30,000 or 9% of the annual budget. FDOT annual operating grants are budgeted at 2.5 million. And FTA operating grants are budgeted at 4.2 million. These grants are paid out retrospectively after expenses have been incurred. Total expenses are 1.5 million or 9% of the annual budget. Salaries and benefits are 1 million or 8% of the annual budget. This is the first financials for the fiscal year, for the new fiscal year. And you will notice that expenses exceeds revenues by $1 million. That is due to, we don't have any Avalon tax funding in, and we don't have any grant revenue.
So that doesn't become permanent.
Go back.
Just saying.
So based on the year to date to budget to actual. The Lambtet financials reflect a negative variance of expenses exceeding revenues and non-subsidy. Okay, moving on to Polk County Transit Services. Oh, okay. Moving on to Polk County Transit Services monthly financial report through October 31st, 2025. Page 8. Page 8. Total revenues are $5 million or 44% of the annual budget. Polk County contract revenues total $4.2 million or 100% of the annual budget. And city contributions received to date are $741,000 or 104% of the annual budget. And the same thing with Lambtet financial statements. We don't have any grant revenues for the month of October 2025 due to we have to incur the expenses before we draw down the funding. Total expenses are $978,000 or 9% of the annual budget. Salaries and wages are $420,000 or 7% of the annual budget. Total actual revenues exceeds expenses by $4 million.
Just for one trip in there, I believe he said 978,000. Our book says 979.
979,000, I'm bringing the top number, 979,000, it was just rounded up from the, at the bottom.
And board members, the chair and I had discussed yesterday, again, just for the record and good government. You can see between the LAMTD financials agenda item number A and the county B, the way that we are one organization with two distinct funding schema. There's more than two, but so the Lakeland Area Mass Transit District is running a $1.1 million deficit. We're living off of our reserves that we have as a taxing authority. Our contract with the county, we're $4 million in the black because the money up front, there is no reserve. So again, it shows that although we're one organization, we make sure that the pots of money are separate and the way that we handle, so even the reserve balances are appropriate. And then obviously going into TD, it's on a different fiscal. But
right.
Page
Okay. Moving on to agenda item 4C, transportation disadvantage monthly financial statements to October 31st, 2025. Transportation disadvantage is on a different fiscal year. Their fiscal year runs from July 1st through June 30th. Total revenues through October 2025 are $453,000 or 31% of the annual budget. And total expenses are $412,000 or 28% of the annual budget. Total revenues exceed expenses by $41,031.
Okay. All right, moving on to item D, certification of administration costs.
Okay, moving on to page 14, agenda item 14. This is a state of Florida requirement. This is a certification of administrative costs. We have to do this every year to do the ratio to calculate administrative costs versus operating expenses based on the last audited financial fiscal year that was audited, which is fund year 2024. So the Lakeland Area Transit District Citrus Connection certifies that the ratio of administrative costs, operating costs for fund year 24 is 20.68% and is below the state tier 2 average of 20.25% plus 20%, which is 24.30%.
Good work.
This is the budget to actual report that you see on your desk, which is attached for fund year 2024. All right, moving on to page.
Do we have, hold on just a
No,
second.
it's not an
Not approved.
approval item, it's just for
Right.
informational purposes.
We will publish this on our website pursuant with the Florida state law.
Awesome.
I appreciate the detail. Thank you, Rhonda. All right, we're ready to move on to item E.
Okay, this is a Florida Department of Transportation Public Grant Agreement for Positive Park and Ride to the Ponciana Sunrise Station. Request approval to accept the grant award for 2025-2026 for the Transit Corridor Development Program totaling $206,164. This is to support the Positive Park and Ride to the Ponciana Sunrail Station. These funds will be utilized for operating expenses. This is a 50-50 grant. The state funding is $103,082 with a Lambtet local match of $103,082, which equals to $206,164. This is an approval item.
Right, so that is, so the Lambtab match is out of the district?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner
St.
No, wait, no, sorry, this is because this is Ponciana Park. This is Pocan.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. Go ahead.
Glad to see this grant and your service to improve the services in your Ponciana area. So thank you.
Yes, and
For doing that.
Commissioner, it's obviously it's largely due to the advocacy of the county commission and your vote almost a decade now ago to have 3 additional routes started on the east side of the county. And once we started the Posner Park to Sunrail Express, the DOT was very happy with the initial numbers. And so this funding allows us to increase the frequency to that. And they've done that for a number of years. So just as, again, for public record, the most popular Sunrail station in the entire network is Poinciana.
How many, what's our ridership from Posner to Poinciana? Do we know, like roughly? Yeah. And then there's parking at that Sunrail or what's that?
Posner. Yes.
Yeah, but at the rail station too. I know a lot of people in Northeast sector drive to park and then get on to go too.
So with the frequency, increasing the frequency of ridership, probably those numbers will increase because they're going to be.
This is the increased frequency.
Okay.
We've had that for a number of years.
Okay.
So we continue to market with Sunrail to make sure that people know that they can get there from the bus to the rail as well. So,
Yeah.
right. And we include, Commissioner, we include this in all of our East County annual mayoral updates when we give it to the mayor and the commission, reminding them that you can get from Bradley Junction, Florida, all the way to Sunrail on public transportation. I mean, effectively, you can ride.
It'd be a long ride.
It'd
I
be a
mean, you
long
have
ride.
to-
It'd be a long ride. You'd have to change multiple
Yeah.
routes, but
Yeah.
you can
Which
absolutely,
you could.
absolutely do it. So,
Yes.
an option. Yeah.
Will do we need to change Lambtab match on here to county match on the paperwork or is it?
Yeah,
like-
We will do
Thank
that.
you. So I will entertain a motion to accept.
Motion
With that
to
change.
approve?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We do love those matching funds. Item F.
Okay. Agenda item number 4F. This is also a Florida Department of Transportation Public Transit Grant Agreement for State Road 37 Transit Corridor Program. Request that the staff approves the grant award for 2025-26 PGTA for the FDOT State Road 37 Transit Corridor Grant Program. Funds totaling $836,586 in support of the South Florida Corridor. This is also a 50-50 grant. The state funding is $418,293 with a Lambtet local match of $418,293. And this is in the Lakeland UCA.
Remind me, UCA.
Urbanized area.
Thank you.
It's designated by the federal government based on census data, correct, Chuck? Correct. And so right now there is a Lakeland urbanized area, Winter Haven urbanized area. I think, Chuck, we had expected maybe that in 2020, the UZAs might have merged, but at some point, the Lakeland UZA and the Winter Haven UZA will combine into, I think, one large UZA. And then we would apply the same funding schema that we have applied the federal block grants to. After the merger, we would apply that based on revenue miles and revenue hours coming from the planning department. Chuck, is there any other things you'd like to add about UZAs?
We're also now also part of our Four Corners, and I think Point Sand is part of the overnight area as well, so we're starting to see more of it pop up. Well, they're kind of basis of becoming a metro, and
Yeah.
they're starting to perfect pop up there.
So this is when we flip from being rural to urban, and then ultimately it'll be metro
Correct.
in the eyes of the federal government, of the Florida state government. Okay. Any further questions on this item? I'll entertain a
Motion
motion.
to approve.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4G.
Okay. This is also another grant for the Florida Department of Transportation, Public Transportation Grant Agreement for the FTA 5311 formula grant for the rural areas of Polk County. This is a pass-through grant. It's a federal funded grant, but it goes to FTA and they manage the funding that comes to the district. Request approval for this grant award for 2025-26 to utilize for operating expenses for the 5311 formula grant in the rural area totaling $1,968,082. These funds will be utilized for operating expenses in the rural areas of Polk County. This is a 50-50 grant. The state funding or federal funding is $984,041 with a local match of $984,041. We have some rural areas in Lakeland and some rural areas in county, so it would be
From Lambton, good.
for that.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move on to 4H, which is our next approval item.
Okay. This is this is for the Federal Transit Administration, Section 5311 formula grant for operating and capital expenses in the rural areas of Polk County. This is an off-cycle application and resolution. This grant that we're applying for is for extra funding that we didn't know that was available until recently. So we get a chance to get more 5311 funding, which is always good.
Oh, we love that.
We request approval for the 2025-26 Section 5311 grant application and corresponding revenues for the purpose of providing operating and capital assistance in the rural areas of Polk County. The district is requesting FTA Section 5311 funding in amount of $233,595. The federal funding is $1,626,786. And we are also requesting toll credits in amount of $6,679 with a local match of $1,616,797, which will be provided by the county. This is an approval item for this application.
Motion to approve resolution 2606.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Yes.
What,
Mayor.
the little history on the toll credit,
Oh, the toll credits will help with the local match.
how do you
But
get the
it's
toll
a
credit?
transportation with the transportation development.
Full credit match. It's a soft match
It's a soft match.
that we can request from the
Huh.
Florida Department of Transportation for projects like this, and then reduce the actual need for cash for the local.
And the 6679, the total amount we have available to us.
I believe that's the total amount that we're able to ask for, correct?
Probably, yeah, not, well, there's part of that grant is operating, which is 50-50, and there's only a small portion that's for capital.
Okay,
And it only covers the preventive maintenance.
nice.
Thank you for the clarification too. Each time we go through this, because I think for us, at least for me as a elected official, there's so many buckets. And it's just really interesting to always hear. And by the way, everybody in this room pays into the federal government. So it really is our money. And so we like when it comes back and we find ways for it to come back and serve our citizens. But truly, I mean, I think it's really important for people to understand that and it takes I feel like Citrus Connections finances are like a quilt. We have these different patches that we all like sew together, and Rhonda's doing a great job doing that. But also unearthing other opportunities is huge. So thank you for that. We'll take that $6,000 credit and the other money. All right, this is another approval item. We have a motion and a second already. Yes? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, now we will turn it. Thank you, Rhonda and your team. Now we'll go to planning, and Nicole McCleary has a presentation for us. Thanks, Nicole.
Sure. Good morning, board. Good morning, chair. Glad to be before you today. Today, we are seeking approval for the PD&E study and design work for the intermodal sector. So first thing is, what is the PD&E study? The PD&E study is planning, development, and environmental. So when we talk about environmental, we're really talking about that NEPA process. That NEPA process that really looks at costs and benefits of the project. We're going to look at alternatives, reach out to the public and our stakeholders to get feedback they can put. So the purposes of the Lakeland Intermodal Center, really it's a community-centric center, a mobility center. What it will do is really provide capacity for both administrative buildings and operations. What we hope to see is providing future capacity for different modes, right? We're talking a lot in Polk County about expansion of Sunrail, things like that. Well, how would that work with our system? And this would help tie all of that together. So we have a phase scope for this project. And phase one is really defining the project concept and completing that environmental clearance. So there's many steps to the NEPA clearance. We'll talk a little bit about that today, but really that step really helps us to really understand where our funding is going to come from and build that funding scheme. We're going to have meaningful engagement with residents, with our businesses, really getting them involved in their buy-in in this really large project. And then phase B will advance to 30% design. So we'll be almost there, right? We'll have that 30% design and then be able to move to that build. Right. So as I said, we'll define the project, really thinking about the space that we have and the needs that we have. We'll look at site plan analysis, and some of that we've already done, but we'll really redefine that and make that more concrete. Thinking about what we have today, what we need for tomorrow. And then really having that streamlined plan for our future decisions. How do we make those future decisions based on the space needs analysis, right? Based on the cost estimates and what we know we can bring to the table. So I talked a little bit about NEPA, and some of you may be familiar with that, but what does it really mean? NEPA is that coordination and approval that our design is not tearing up our community, really. Thinking about the benefits and impacts to the community and weighing those against the alternatives that we'll bring forth, right? So we're going to look at social impact, economic, natural resources, those types of things, as well as financial. All right. So when we finish the NEPA process, we'll really know where we're going to get our funding from, because we'll be eligible for specific grants and things like that. And we can develop that plan, and that's part of this process as well, of what grants we're going to go for to then get to that build point. Public engagement, this will have a large public engagement component. We'll meet with our stakeholders, we'll do a lot of outreach. One of the things that we'll really focus on is that community-based facility branding. What does this look like for Lakeland? How do we want to brand this? Is this the Polk County Intermodal Center? Is this the Lakeland City Intermodal Center? What does that look like? Is it the Citrus Connection Intermodal Center? So getting that feedback from our stakeholders and the public. At the end of phase one, we'll have a financial plan, a funding strategy for that build out, right? We'll be thinking about what dollars we can bring, what discretionary grants we can go for this project specifically, and then how to finance the rest of it, right? what we want to see is a targeted grant funding and pursuit plan. And so our consultant will help us build that out. And then doing that grant cost analysis, which ones are really worth our effort, and how we will then tackle that. How, who do we need to meet with? What players do we need to bring to the table? Phase 1B is that 30% design, really getting the project to 30% design, and that happens after we complete the NEPA process. And then we'll look at, are we gonna do a traditional design bid build or a design build, and then thinking about construction and phasing and implementing construction. So the future phases, so phase 1 is this part of the project, which is specifically defining the project, doing the NEPA process, understanding our funding, kind of committing those funding dollars. We'll complete that with this project here, and then the future phases will be the final design, because we're only going to go to 30% design with this project, and then construction. All right. So the recommendation today is to recommend the board approve the award of contract 25018 for the PD&D study and design work for the intermodal center to WSP USA in amount not to exceed $2 million for the completion of phase 1 and related tasks. Just to give you a little bit of background on that, in July of this year, we issued a solicitation for 25-018, and it was posted on the LandTAD OpenGov portal. So we had 2 firms that responded to that. The evaluation committee recommended award to WSP as the highest ranked firm.
Can you tell me about WSP?
Sure. Well, we have some reps from WSP here today, but they are planning engineering firm nationwide. But Cassandra, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cassandra Borchers. I'm the Florida Transportation Development Director for WSP, and really excited about this project. WSP is a global firm. In the United States, we used to be called Parsons Brinckerhoff. They may have heard of them. They've been in the transit business for more than 100 years. I'm personally excited to be part of this. Known Nicole for a very long time, and used to be colleagues when I was over at the Pinellas Central Transit Authority. If there was going to be one thing that I'm most excited about this project is that we're going to look for your funding. And that really is, that is one of the things that I'm really good at. So, and I like it very much. Since I've been with WSP, I have a grant writer, and she and I have won over $300 million worth of grants in the last 3 years. 55 million of that was for HART in Hillsborough. So we're excited to bring that skill to you. The other part of my job is working on capital project development. So I've been involved with transit centers before, maintenance facilities and the like. I have with me Jennifer Straw, who is the deputy project manager for this. She's done tens of, I don't know, it feels like 100 NEPA projects. And one project she just recently finished was the feasibility study for the Sunrail expansion. And so we have both national and local experience right here for you. And it's super easy for me to come here anytime. So I'm excited about this project, and I can certainly get you more information about WSP. Transit is a big part of our business, but we do everything related to public infrastructure, from roadways, power stations, stormwater. So we're a full service firm, and we're just really excited to be here. So if any questions for me, I'm happy to spend the time with you. Thank you.
Yes, Mayor.
How would you say that you differentiate yourselves from your competitors the most?
I would say that we think about the function and what you really need. I think sometimes consultants try to talk you into something that you don't really need. And so we try to streamline that process and make sure that you're getting what you need, when you need it, and not more, and certainly not less.
One last follow-up. Where are you physically located?
Like, where do I sleep?
No. Where do you office? I'm sure you're not sleeping at the office. Sounds like you are getting things done.
My personal base is in the West Shore Business District, yeah, but I live on this side. On this side.
Yay, I like that even better.
Must sleep in her car.
She sleeps on I-4 somehow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, if you have any other questions, happy to entertain them and would ask for approval.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further questions? Good presentation, Nicole. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, Mayor Mutz.
You know, something that I did not appreciate until the Polk Regional Water Cooperative is the funding approvals at certain percentages of design. Because you're thinking, why don't we just finish the design and get it done? But those are really important windows to protect flexibility. And so in terms of a project, so you want enough that gets you guided down the channel, but enough room to be able to do exactly what you talked about, which is making it the way you need it to be in the first place. And so just to get comfortable with that, to me, that is an important thing to recognize, and I didn't early on.
It's good to be nimble.
Yes.
All right, the next item is Anna Irwin, our Safety and Security Director, is going to give us an update, and this too is an approval item.
Good morning, board. It's the time of the year that Safety Department has to review and update the PTASP. PTASP is the safety plan together along with the security plan. This year we didn't have much to update.
A little louder, sorry. We're on a different end, so it's.
Is this working? Ben?
It records.
It's probably, but it's not.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Thank you.
So this year we didn't have much to update. We review everything, it's a minor updates, internal numbers, names, and requests by FDOT and FTA. We did change what the request by FTA, the Safe Committee name is not Safe Committee now, it's just Safety and Security Committee. We also update the numbers of members to match equal numbers for management side and compliance. And we also update the request from FDOT to report the accident, the major accidents to FDOT in 24 hours. We had the data before, but we're not doing the procedure, how they export. So those updates are to be in compliance with FDOT and FTA. We present the test to the state community members, has been approved and signed for the staff management has been signed and approved, and now we ask for the board approval for the new version of 2020.
Any questions? This is an approval item.
Yes.
Motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. The next item that we have is our CEO report, Tom Phillips, agency updates.
I will be brief. Thank you, Chair, board members, Mayor-elect. I have a letter that I'll be giving to the Mayor-elect after this meeting. This is obviously Mayor Mutz's last meeting. And while we're sad about that, we do need another appointment. And so that falls to the Mayor-elect. So we'll be asking her to appoint a new member for the Lakeland Area Mass Transit District Board of Directors. Just for clarity, how that works is the mayor makes that appointment. And then as Commissioner Lalonde, is our newest member, knows, we schedule typically half a day with the entire senior management team. And we go over everything from all of the different departments. It's a pretty intense half day. We like to have board members up and running for their first board meeting. So in the event that things don't work out with the holidays and we haven't had a chance to fully brief that board member, we'll keep the January board meeting relatively light And then have a longer February board meeting just for calendars. If we have the opportunity to sit with them and do a deep dive, then we'll make sure that the January is there as well.
And Tom, really quick, can you, I think everyone knows, but you and your team are really good at people who are even running for office.
Yeah.
You bring them in
Yeah.
and do an
So-
overview of Citrus Connection.
Thank you. So approximately 13 years ago, we set off as a Lakeland area mass transit district and set a goal that whether you were running for city commissioner, elected dog catcher, all the way to congressman, that the Citrus can even there was a Swift Mud, there were water districts. Anyone who's running for office, whether they're directly touched by transit or not, is an investor in transit, as the chair had said, through paying federal and state taxes. And so we offer to meet with all elected officials. And about 85% take us up on that offer. And we give them a very brief 1-hour history of mass transit in Polk County. And win, lose, or draw, they go away educated.
Right.
And it's created, I believe, an advocacy network that we have where people are interested in transit. And it respects the fact that even running for office means that you care about your community. So we continue to do that. And everybody gets exactly the same presentation. We answer those questions. Nothing's kept in confidentiality. So I think it's really worked out well for the district. I just again would like to recognize Tony and his team. I had not planned on doing it in Mayor Mutz's event, but I got a little emotional and so
Pretty awesome.
got off script. But I'd like the Human Resources Department just to stand up just very briefly and be recognized for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic. We are fully staffed in fixed route and paratransit. And what that's allowed us to do is now start to fill those extra board positions. Because extra board is what happens when people call off FMLA, those types of things. But I would just like to thank you all. November, December, many people don't know, that is not a time that organizations are known for hiring. So the fact that you got us fully staffed and giving Christmas break just speaks to the amount of work that you did and the dedication you all had to that. So thank you all very much, because it's very difficult for all of us to not have routes full every day. It's not what the union wants. It's not what we want. It's not what the board wants. And so we're really headed in the right direction. And I'd just like to thank, Tony, in a very short period of time. I said, we've been working on one mine and really going down in that mine and looking for that vein for a number of years. And Tony came in and said, we're closing that mine. We're going to start digging a new one. And we're going to head in this direction. It's really worked out. So thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for the hard work that you done.
Thank
We
you.
all appreciate it. As we had anticipated, we did get a letter of termination for the Bartow Squeeze from the Bartow CRA. It was a 1-year pilot program. There were approximately 329 rides a month. We felt that ridership was good, but ultimately we respect local control. They transmitted the letter, and again, for the protection of the district and Bartow, we had the capital assets addressed in that, so they will be keeping their squeeze carts since they purchased them. We'll take the logos off it. We'll work through Tony will work through the insurance and the titling as well. So if they ever want to have us back, we're happy to do it.
A year.
And we continue to have strong squeeze products elsewhere. And Tony and I and the Human Resources Department have had a long-term commitment that we don't lay people off at the district. We have not had to do that in 15 years, so we'll be repurposing those squeeze drivers in other areas.
Yeah.
Yes, and as you know, we're in conversations with Winter Haven for a Winter Haven squeeze and a Winter Haven circulator at the same time. As the chair and I discussed yesterday as senior staff, that follows what Lake Wales did, which was a circulator and then a squeeze. And now Winter Haven's following in that as well. So stay tuned for that.
Commissioner Santiago.
Was there a reason, did they give you a reason as to why they stopped? Because you said the ridership was good.
I think ultimately, they had hoped that ridership would be more. And we made a number of changes that it's safe to say, Nicole, we made more changes than we had wanted to, trying to respond to what they were looking for. And ultimately just weren't able to get there. I think it was very well written. It was a great pilot project. And I hope Commissioner Lalonde's right, that they'll be back. We know that
They will.
we'd launched the lunch squeeze in Lakeland, and ultimately it didn't work initially.
Right,
Right.
that's true.
Uh,
Yeah,
and years later,
came back.
they came back and
Yeah.
it came back very powerful. So, we're excited about that. And again, I just keep coming back to what Commissioner Lindsay taught me, which was we absolutely respect local control.
Yep.
And this is the decision they want to make. For the.
Mayor Mutz.
Is there anything we would have done, wished we had tried to do differently that we didn't do? Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that ultimately, I'm a big fan of Sanibel Island. And Sanibel Island doesn't change. It's loved to death, and it's kind of the same thing. We made lots of changes.
So too
in the
many.
year line. We made too many changes. Where it picks up, where it drops off, we go on DOT property, do not go on DOT property. The signs, the sizes of the signs, where the signs were placed, how we were marketing it. We were changing things, I believe, at such a pace that there wasn't enough soak time for the people to understand what the base product was. A little bit different, Mr. Mayor, than what we experienced in Lake Wales, where the expectation was as each street opens downtown, we're going to change. That was getting incrementally closer to what the final project was going to be. Here, we just kept changing things.
Well, and the inconsistency, if you expect to pick it up at City Hall and it's not at City Hall at a certain time, then you're like, why am I even bothering?
Sure.
So yeah, that does give a little more volatility to it,
Absolutely.
because people don't know what to
It
expect.
takes months to become.
It really does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think we ultimately learned that with the Tiger Town Express.
Yeah.
We did those 6 games. And 99% of our riders the next year that we went all in had no clue that we had done a pilot the year before.
Yeah.
You know, we had hundreds and hundreds of rides. So it takes that soak time.
Yep.
Which leads into my next item, which is we are getting a meeting together with Zach Burke and the Tigers and our team to kick off another successful Tiger Town Express series. We're looking at more in stadium opportunities to make sure that people know that the Tiger Town Express is there. Again, Lakeland Hills Corridor is under construction. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did in the years prior. We'll make sure that Pyramid Parkway light timing is there with the Lakeland Police Department. It's very well written. And Commissioner Santiago, we have not forgotten your desire to have us look at something that reads from the east. And so we'll continue to explore those opportunities. We don't have anything at this point, but I did want you to know we continue to look at that.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was gonna bring it up, but I'm glad you said something. How early do you start with the advertisement, with the marketing and things like that, letting people know that it's coming? How much in advance to the actual start?
Is Dave here?
Right here.
Oh, great. So Dave, can you talk about when we started with the Tigers, when kind of we usually ramp up?
I mean, do you start in January? Do you start in, I mean, when?
advertising market.
We really start in
January.
After the
holidays we start, because spring training starts in February.
Right,
Yeah.
Start too soon, people are not thinking about that, their money is dedicated to the holidays, they're not dedicated
Right.
to spring training tickets, so. What we do is we start right after the holiday.
The Tigers just sent out their first mailer for season tickets this last week, because I got mine. So this will be about the time after the holidays that we start to ramp up, yes. And I want to commend Dave and his team. Having that integration on the Tigers website is really important. So we're going to continue to make sure that we're on that MLB.com. So when people go to buy their tickets, they see there's a $24 parking option, Dave. I think it's $14 parking option, and then Tiger Town Express shuttle free. So they see it right there when they're making.
the free real big.
They're making.
That's what I'm saying, that's a bigger cost.
Letters.
Yeah, and then what we're working on with the in-stadium opportunity is, you know, we have the squeeze coasters. We're working on a Tiger Town Express coaster that has the QR code on the other side, and having our Citrus Connection interns, and the Tigers have agreed to this in concept, that our interns for the home games would put those coasters in the bottoms of the cup holders of every single seat. Then have them at the 33 Club and the other cabanas that are located around as well, so that patrons literally are looking at the Tiger Town Express logo, and on the other side, the QR codes right there.
Yes,
Uh,
Mayor Mutz.
Yes.
Could we, and this may not be practical, but could we take the Tigers eastern Polk County portion of their mail list and get to where we might be able to email any of those, when we have enough connection where we could get them a little survey and talk about, you know, if we had this available, would you be interested? So we could create some kind of a survey.
We will add that, we'll add that to our ask when we meet with Zach and his team to see what data they'd be willing to share with us.
Because, you know, and if we had one, when would you want to, how many, what time, how much time before the game?
Right.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Just that we could get either no response or
Right.
get some guidance.
Or do the chamber of the city too.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then you wouldn't have to have no.
that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Because on the next item is Sun and Fun, which obviously, we're meeting with Gene and his team as well. We presented the route. It is a 70-minute route. However, Nicole and her team have designed a 25-minute frequency, so 25 to 30-minute frequency. So that does not mean that every customer is going to be experiencing a 70-minute ride. That's obviously someone who's going from Sun and Fun all the way to downtown. But as we talked with the chair yesterday, this is really going to be a targeted event, making sure that we are providing an excellent experience when those folks get downtown. So we have a meeting that is being scheduled with Julie and the LDDA and her marketing team and the Chamber of Commerce, Wiggins and her team, so that we can all sit down and say, what is that experience going to be like when folks get off the bus? And the chair had shared, you know, we don't want to compete with the fireworks show. We don't want to compete with the concerts. This has got to be very targeted at what people want. So we want hundreds of people getting off the buses and experiencing downtown Lakeland, many who have flown in for 10, 15, 20 years and have never left the campus.
No.
And Gene has been extremely
Yeah.
gracious
Good.
in sharing his data. He's got cell phone data. The data that they collect out there is
great.
absolutely fantastic.
Ben,
How to bus route and make it interesting, as enjoyable, you know, if they do the full ride, what can they do? Can they watch past shows? I don't. know,
Yes.
something like that.
And Nicole, you want to talk a little bit about what Gene had shared with us with the kind of his vision of who might be riding the bus as well?
Yeah, sure. So, in speaking with everyone at Summit Fund, they thought that a lot of the vendors would be using the bus. They stay at Spring
okay.
and Park Funding. So going in the morning, taking the bus in the morning to Sun and Fun, and then having that break in the middle of the day to get back to the hotel and kind of regroup and do those things. And then those same vendors being able to then easily access downtown.
Ben, you had your hand up. Was it about this or was it prior info?
It's neither.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think he's going away, but I just want to say on a professional and personal level publicly, Lakeland is truly blessed for having Bill Mutz and his leadership and service.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Sorry, he was open.
Go back.
Focus, Bill, focus.
Distracted.
We're giving you accolades. Yes, Commissioner
Yeah.
Law.
I didn't know if you were.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, the last item, last item was that, we are launching Leave the Keys, Ride the Squeezes again. This will be I believe our fourth year, Dave, is that correct? Our fourth year of Leave the Keys, Ride the Squeeze, third or fourth year. First year did gangbusters, hundreds of rides. We counted 68 locals that we took home to their residences between midnight and 2 a.m. that first year. These were locals. So imagine that 100% of those were safe rides home. These were not
That's
tourists we were
amazing.
taking hotels.
Yeah.
Years 2 and year 3, or 2, 3, and 4, we had rain and 2 really, really cold evenings. So the GEM EV6 electric carts should be in by then. They should be here in the next couple of weeks. So they'll have doors.
Days training.
Yes, days training for Commissioner Lalonde. And so we will be doing Leave the Keys, Ride the Squeeze again. We brought out the marketing materials because the police chief is the same. Many of the management's the same at the joinery and other places. So that will be a safe evening out as well.
Cool.
That is the end of my report.
All right, yes, Mayor Mutz.
I was just interested in why 70 minutes
Yeah, I wanted to come, thank you.
and not complain. I mean, just
Curious.
So get from, Rose Park's Park and Ride to, you know,
Oh, Lakeside Village.
to Lakeside Village. So we're going Rose Park Park and Ride, then we stop at the downtown terminal, to Lakeside Village, and then Front and Front. Sun and Front. So that whole ride is about 30 minutes. Now, most people are not taking that whole ride, but for those that are, you know, it's a longer ride. We expect that we'll see a lot of rides from Lakeside Village to Sun and Fun, and then from Lakeside Village to downtown.
Yep, okay, good.
Yeah.
Do, on that point, so you do Lakeside Village to the downtown terminal and then over to Rose Park, or is that the way it goes backwards? So technically they could hop off at downtown terminal and walk downtown through Munn Park and through that way. So can we communicate that with them that if they want to be downtown versus being at Joinery?
Yeah.
That shapes a few minutes off.
That'll only get better next year once the app is developed.
Yes.
We could also.
We're gonna see it
leave
live.
from downtown, right, and take it around downtown if they need. So
Exactly.
there's an option.
Yeah. Yes, Commissioner Lon.
Thank you so very much. I just had a couple comments. First, happy anniversary to you and your lovely bride. I love your inspirational stuff every morning. Had a great time at Snowfest, watching the squeezes. I think I sent you a pic. That guy was busy, boy, I tell you that. So I have two questions. The first one was, where are we at now for the number 2 position? I know that had been something that had been brought up in the last couple of
Like
meetings.
deputy. What number is it?
So I had discussed in my one-on-one with Commissioner Lalonde and some others,
Oh,
legacy planning and the number 2. I've discussed that, succession planning.
yeah.
I've discussed that at length with the chair, and so we're having ongoing discussions
Mhm.
about that. And at the same time for succession planning, our primary focus since we met last, has been Mr. Darby's transition. And so finance and Rhonda and her team have been over to Mr. Darby's, is that correct? And so we're working on that transition as well. And Todd is here and is working on the RFP for legal services. So we're moving forward on those initiatives.
Good. And the other one was, I know I had mentioned to you, but I wanted to bring up if there'd been any talks, any further discussions to possibly a squeeze type at Lakeland Regional.
So Lakeland Regional had reached out to us about once they had seen the GEM EV6 information, they had reached out to us. And so when they responded to us, I talked with the planning department. When the EV6 golf carts come in, we're going to talk to Lakeland Regional's leadership and take a look at what they may want from a squeeze route and see if that's feasible. The biggest challenge that they have, as Commissioner Lalonde has shared with me, and then Rob Arturi on the management staff there, they have a couple of issues. The first is employee parking. Getting to and from employee parking at night is much of a challenge. And the vast majority of their administrative staff do not leave for lunch. Vast majority, because them finding a parking spot is almost impossible when they get back. And so there's some options there. Obviously, the biggest challenge is crossing into downtown. They also have another campus downtown. And so it's very difficult for physicians and administrative staff to take their cars from one to the other. So I think that there's opportunities there, and we're gonna do a test ride. I'll be honest, yes, the shrug from Carly tells you there are some concerns, but we're going to absolutely take a look at it and see what we can do. And they have said, regardless of how that conversation goes, they would like to talk about advertising on the new GEM EV6 golf carts. With Orlando Health coming in, I think there's a lot of opportunities for the Citrus Connection to get some additional. And those EV6 golf carts are going to be.
There's more space.
Doors on the side, more space, so there's more opportunity for us to charge a higher rate. And those squeeze carts are very popular.
Clean design.
Clean design, yes.
Good.
Good, thank you.
I did, Great American Teaching at Rochelle School of the Arts. I don't know how many weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. before Thanksgiving, and I did the civics classes for 7th and 8th grade, and they were amazing. Actually, the 8th graders were first and then 7th graders were second, but the 7th graders, it was a smaller class. And so we talked about city services, county services, you know, how it all overlaps and different things we did. One young man was like, "What are you doing to Lakeland Hills?" I'm like, "Oh, that's not me." I'm like, "That's Florida DOT. Well, let's talk about state." Exactly. I'm like, "That's the state." And he's like, "When's it gonna be done?" And I said, "What grade are you in?"
Like this kid, right?
And I said, "Maybe by 10th grade, you're gonna be able to do that." He might have been, he was an 8th grader. And I said three spring training seasons. So I said, last year was the first spring training season. This is the second, next year's the third. It'll be after that one. And so, but I said, you can ride a bus if you want to do that. But he might live in your neighborhood. I don't know. He goes back and forth and traverses that with his parents. And he's like, "It is a mess." I'm like, "It is. And I'm sorry." But it was a great question too. And it gave an opportunity that he was like, "How does that work? And who does what?" And so it was a really good opportunity. But I did feel bad that he'll be in, I'm like, "You'll be in high school when it's finished." So sorry.
You'll be trying.
That's why I did say that. Might be
Yesterday
16.
they were saying DOT, they were 700 days ahead on some projects. I was like, that's like.
Be that one.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, we had a great TDP presentation yesterday. We do our agenda study, me as the chair with the leadership team, typically the day or two before this meeting, just to walk through the agenda. And I told them we had all been at TPO, or 4 of us had been at TPO yesterday, and that they did the TDP. And I'm like, "Is that a consultant?" And Nicole's like, "Yes, that would be a consultant." I'm like, "I did not know that guy," but he did a great job. And we talked a lot about, that's public input and then not necessarily our ridership input. But anyway, all that to say, it was a good report. So.
And we will, you're up again, our interns to do another statistically significant rider survey, so we got that updated information for the 95% confidence intervals. Yeah. The last time we did it, we got to that 95% confidence interval, but it took us months and months and months. So we'll have a much more positive effort this time to make sure that we get that information. Yeah.
So do we collect it and give it to the consultant?
I don't know that information, they may have that.
Yeah,
We collect it, right, and then provide it to them. Got it.
And in future TDPs, the Citrus Connection staff will handle the outreach. And we'll go back
Right.
more to that guerrilla marketing where we walk grocery store aisles, go to Mitchell's, go to Richards. We go to Smoke on the Water.
Yeah.
You know,
Farmers
community
market.
events, the
Yeah.
farmers market, say, "Hey, here's a picture of a taxi cab, here's a picture of an Uber, here's a picture of a express bus on I-4.
Yeah.
Which of these things do you think you would be interested in? What will it need to look like?" When you get to that granular level, that's when the biggest. So, because sometimes folks need to see it to understand it.
Well, being no further business, just to echo Mr. Darby, we so appreciate you. Are sad that you're leaving, but happy for you and your family to enjoy life and free up some time for you, because you have devoted so much time. Pam and Emma have devoted so much time to the city of Lakeland and to all the different responsibilities we have. And I just wanted to offer you, Commissioner Santiago, but at the end, if you'd like to say anything else, we'd love that. Commissioner Santiago.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Cheryl. Best thing about you is what you do behind the scenes as a leader that nobody sees. And when you come forward with meetings like this, events or something like that, you're always so calm, direct but calm, and you get things done. And I appreciate that. I've watched you on many occasions as a leader, and I really appreciate how you lead. So thank you very much. And I appreciate your friendship.
Yeah.
I really do. You have been a great mentor, and I'm gonna miss you in this board, but I'll see you throughout Lakeland. I'll see you throughout Polk County. We're gonna take a month off, and then you're gonna be back out in the house. Publicly, publicly, I just want to say thank you so much. You all so many.
No.
Appreciate it.
No. All right, it's you.
It's a privilege for me to have been a participant in this. It is to me, and I said it in the other room, but this organization, its vitality, its intentionality amidst so many challenges is just inspiring. And what you're doing is so important and more important than most people realize. It's it. And so it's wonderful to be involved in work where you know that what you're doing is making a difference. And you may never hear a thank you for a lot of the things that you do. That doesn't matter. That's not the reason we're doing it. You're doing it because it makes it possible for people to do what they wouldn't do otherwise. And we can celebrate numbers way too much sometimes in life. It's how you're making a difference in every individual's life. And so thank you so much. For me to be able just to be a participant in that process has been an absolute privilege. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll adjourn at 9:36.
There's no update on this, supervising the